Hello, welcome back to my podcast. This is your host, Anissa, and you are listening to You Can't Say That Right Now. And I am being joined by the very special Iman Cameron.
Hi,
Say hi.
hiya.
So, this is Iman. She's a very good friend of mine. She's in my year. And we are going to be talking how first gens are foreigners as well. Aren't we, Iman?
Yes, we are.
So, why don't you introduce yourself, like where you are, where you're from, and your language? I know you're from Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
And you speak Punjabi, but why is that? Why is that the city that you're from? Like you speak Punjabi?
Well, my family's actually from it's a it's an area of, so it's kind of disputed whether it's actually part of Pakistan. It's called Mirpur. It's in it's really complicated, but it's in the old kingdom of Jammu and Kashmir, and it's in the area called Jammu. And
Mm-hmm.
what we speak actually is a dialect of Punjabi, because originally before partition we were from India, so like the Indian side of the border of Punjab, but now we live in Mirpur, yeah. So it's kind of North
Oh
Pakistan.
wow, that's interesting because you see, with me, I actually where I'm from, there's like a similar situation because I'm from a country called Tanzania, but I'm actually from an island called Zanzibar. But before that, but before there was a revolution, and the country of Tanzania was originally called Tanganyika, and Zanzibar was just Zanzibar. But the Zanzibar revolution forced it didn't force, you could say, but like there had to be some rules and they joined together.
Mm.
My mom says my mom says she didn't like it. She still thinks Zanzibar as its own country. Do your parents think in that way as well? Or
Um, Kind of. I feel like it depends, but a lot of people are accustomed to the idea of the borders now, like Pakistan and India, but some people prefer it how it used to be. Yeah, it depends on the family themselves.
so do you think you how do you identify better as like from as being Pakistani or
Well, my family, like, they're very
proud?
explicit on their Pakistani identity. Like, they'll always say that they're Pakistani. But I myself, once I started finding out the history and stuff, I'll I'll a lot of the time I'll tell people I'm Punjabi, because like ethnically I am Punjabi.
Hmm.
So I'll tell them that rather than I'm Pakistani.
I always be like, I used to not like saying I'm from Tanzania and Zanzibar, so I just say I was from Kenya because people wouldn't be able to identify it on the map and stuff.
Yeah.
But the language I speak at home is Swahili. It's broken Swahili, let's be real. But like I'm mixing like English within, and you know those times where you just quit and you're just like, so basically in English, I feel so guilty.
For talking English.
Like, yeah, I feel so guilty because I'm just like, why aren't you trying? You should try at least.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like at events and stuff where I see other family members and they're all talking Punjabi to me, and then I talk English back to them. I always it feels so wrong.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of like shamed
I
on
know.
for knowing English. And like when I'm at like with my family at home, I shy away, and my parents think I'm like introverted and shy, but as you know, I'm like very loud,
Yeah,
and just and people think, oh, why aren't you like more like your mom? I am like my mom, but I just don't know how to speak the language well enough to
exactly.
to people for people to think, for me to fit into their expectation.
Yeah, like
So
when like the women in my family are gossiping and stuff, I'll just be they're always gossiping our language, so I'll be
it's
sat there listening to them gossip, trying to pick up words. And a lot of the time I recognize it, but some of the time I don't. So I'll have bits and pieces of the story, of the gossip story, but I won't know the full thing.
like, what's it called? There was this one situation. My whole family was talking, right, and I was just sitting there listening, like
Mm-hmm.
eagerly, because it was interesting. And like after the thing, I was just like, OMG, I couldn't believe that happened when I said to my mom, and she just like, you knew what we were talking about? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal and stuff. Like, I'm more comfortable with like speaking broken Swahili with my parents because like
Uh-huh.
they've gotten used to it. Pardon?
Nothing, carry on.
Like, I'm more used to like speaking the Swahili that I know to my parents because they'll just understand it and like try help me. But then when I go to my other families, I feel like I'll be like judged because of like the words and the way I pronounce
Yeah.
them. So like I'm gonna ask you a question. Why do most people like struggle with their mother tongue?
Well, for people in the UK, most people struggle, I think, because obviously you're surrounded by English speaking people. English is
Mhm.
what everyone speaks here. English is a standard, and you use it in your day to day life. So once you've got so accustomed to speaking English, you kind of lose your mother tongue, don't you?
Yeah, there's a story. The story I was talking about was a lot of Asian American parents, they will purposely try not to speak in their mother tongue to their
Uh huh.
children so they could so they will like assimilate better into Western society. So they won't let's say for example they won't teach their children Mandarin at all,
Yeah.
like, and then the child will feel so out of place when they're older and they have to visit their family because they know English so well but they don't know like Mandarin at all, and like you just feel like such regret, and like there will be times where I'm just like to my parents, like, you could have tried like helping me
Mhm.
like learn the language better, or like most, you know how most parents like this is like more common with like Arab parents, they'll send their kids away to their home country for like a year, and that's like that's all it needs, like a year, and they already know the language, they go to like Arabic schools and they're like fluent when they
Yeah.
come back. I always felt like, oh, I wish I had that. Like, you surround yourself with the culture, the language, you absorb it, and you just retain it when you get back because you've just gotten so used to it.
Yeah. Do you know like for that, I feel like Arabic kids are really lucky because of the way they've got like Arabic school here and stuff. And
Yeah.
Sikh Punjabis, um,
Hmm.
because their holy book is written in Punjabi, they go to Punjabi school so they can read Punjabi and so they can read it out their
Hmm.
holy book. So that way, they
Oh,
always know how to Sikh Punjabis always get to know how to speak it because they go to Punjabi school.
no,
But for
that's so
Muslim
lucky.
Punjabis, it's not the same.
Yeah, because there aren't like a lot of books. Well, for me, there aren't a lot of books that are written in Swahili for me. And when you're trying to find like that source of information to learn from, it's very scarce, and you just can't seem to find it or to grasp onto it
Mm-hmm.
at all. And well, yeah, it's really hurtful. I don't want to be surrounded by English all the time.
I know.
Do you ever feel like you're losing that connection? Like, the more I stay in this country, I'm just gonna lose that connection with my country entirely.
Yeah, because you know how I feel like as I'm growing older, I am trying like recently I've tried to learn my language more, but I feel like as start getting older and having to do more college work and uni work, and like if I move away and start like actual professional work, I'll get less time to learn it, and I'm gonna lose it, and then if I ever have kids, they won't speak it.
Cause yeah, I agree. Because there is so much for us to already do in our lives that we can't really focus on what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to learn my language. I really do. I want that you when you learn a language, you already become a part of that culture. You understand it way more better than you could ever do as an
Yeah.
outsider. And yeah, when and because I don't know my language that well, I do feel like an outsider what what I should be like at
Yeah.
home with.
Mm-hmm.
And you just feel like so left out.
Yeah.
So like, because I look at my cousins, and my cousins, they speak Swahili and they learn English
Yeah.
because it's like the international language and stuff. So,
My cousins over here in this country, they all one of my cousins, she lives with her grandparents, and her parents speak Punjabi mostly at home, and my other cousins, they live, basically all of them live near my grandparents, and we live in a separate city. Obviously, we live in Manchester, so they all know how to
mhm.
speak it, and me and my sisters are the only ones who can't speak it. So then, when they're able to speak to our aunties and uncles and the elders, I can't speak to the elders and stuff, but they can.
Yeah, that just like really sucks. And they think you're being rude
Uh
as
huh.
well. They think you're being rude when you're trying to like when you're not speaking to them. You're just like, why aren't you talking to me?
Exactly.
Hmm?
Exactly.
Exactly. So language discrimination in families is normalized, and I hate it.
Very true. So true. So true.
Like, why are you shaming me for not knowing my
It's not
language?
even my fault. It's my parents' fault for not teaching it to me.
Like, if I could go back in time, I would say, don't come to England, like, at all. Like, even though the first basic rules of time travel is don't talk to family members, I'd risk it all because I'm not suffering this lifestyle. Because, as well as that, with language discrimination, not like in families,
Mhm.
but you know how ignorant people, like people that like racist people, just like, oh, why don't you know English that well when they already know a language, and most people only go throughout their whole lives only knowing one language. So when you're trying to learn a second language whilst trying to balance that other language, like it's really hard to do that.
It's a skill.
And like,
Like
yeah.
I admire like my parents and stuff so much, because my mum, she can speak Urdu, Punjabi, and English, and she knows like snippets of other South Asian languages as well, like Hindi. She'll know, and she can kind of understand certain bits of Bengali. So I find that really cool. Like, she never actually acknowledges the fact she can speak that many languages, and it's so cool.
I know, right? Like, my mom, she'll just she knows like English, like she'll understand it, and she knows Swahili,
Mhm.
and she grew up with her mom speaking Hindi to her because there was this one time, I swear to God, where my mom said to me, where I said to my mom, why doesn't Ma speak English with me? And she was just like, what do you want her to do? Learn Swahili, learn Hindi, learn English, and like other languages? She was just like, it's not easy, Anissa. And then she was just like, she won't realize, they don't realize it's like a skill that I would, people that learn languages off of watching shows. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
So, so jealous. Ugh. I can't grab that. And I'm like, when I'm watching shows with my mom, I'm half guessing what they're saying, like most of the time.
Yeah.
And my mom will just be like, that's good. That's good. You're spot on.
I have to watch
Because,
there's a lot of Pakistani dramas nowadays, and they're really good, but I can only watch the ones with English subtitles. And if they don't have English
mm,
subtitles, even though I really want to watch it, I'll just be like, oh no, I can't watch it.
there was a period of time where I know, but like there was a period of time where I just watched Indian serials with my mom, and she was way better at watching them than me. But I didn't like the serial series because half the time there wouldn't be English subtitles,
Yeah.
and my mom would just refuse. My mom would refuse to translate because she's trying to absorb the show as well. She's like, Anissa, be quiet. And then I would be just like, fine then, and I'd be like, oh, like it's the plot was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but like, what's the point of knowing the plot if I don't know what they're talking about? And half of it's just backhand slaps.
Yeah, my little sister right now, she's watching a Pakistani drama with my mom, but it doesn't have English subtitles. But because she's younger, she's just kind of watching it for the. She watches what happens, but she doesn't listen. If you know what I mean.
Mm, like my what's it called? My brother.
Mhm.
I'm trying to not speak English with him, and I'm trying to speak like Kiswahili with him, so that he'll grow up at least knowing a bit more than I ever did and stuff. And even though and I think that's kind of stunted him because he doesn't even know English that well, and I'm like, maybe I did the bad choice here and stuff. What else do you think about first gens being foreigners and like foreign and immig- child of immigrants and stuff?
Um. I feel like the way we kind of separate from both communities. I mean, you hear like people say this all the time, but it is true. Like we're not kind of fit. We don't fit in here, but we don't fit in there either.
Yeah, there's like also people who like grew up with the languages. They always give off having like a superiority complex, like, ha, I'm better than you. I know the language more fluent than you. Instead of like helping and stuff, you know, like instead of degrading us, why don't you just try help
Mhm.
us and stuff? And there's this one show. I took a screenshot. I was preparing for this episode so badly, but yeah, there's this one scene in Fresh Off the Boat. Do you know what Fresh Off the Boat is?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. What is it?
It's basically like this Chinese American family. They immigrated from like the east to the west,
Mhm.
and they're moving around, and they all speak English with each other. And with like most Asian parents, they're like very strict and like very much want they very much want the best for their kids, but they go about it in the West way and stuff.
Yeah.
So like in this one clip that they do, it's like they have a challenge where they can only speak, I think it was Mandarin, and the younger kids were so good at like speaking Mandarin,
Mhm.
but the eldest was the worst, and he only knew one phrase. And I was just like, it's kind of true, kind of not, because you'd think that the eldest, would know the language the
Yeah.
best, but you kind of lose it when you try to integrate with Western society and their expectations.
Mhm.
And well, my brother, he was born in Zanzibar. He was fluent, but like now he's been here for like 2 decades in this country, and you lose the
Yeah,
tongue,
you do.
you lose the language, and well, he's not. I've noticed he's just not as good at speaking at it. Like he'll slip in English, and he just won't bother speaking in Swahili at all. He'll just speak English, and I'm just like, why would you do that?
Yeah. You know,
Mm.
I feel like the way my parents decided to like put more emphasis on me learning English. My mum, she was born in Pakistan, but she lived in Germany for a period of time, and she said that she always used
Oh
to
wow.
get bullied in school by in
Oh.
Germany for being the brown kid. So I feel like that might
Oh.
be one reason why she decided to put more emphasis on me learning English rather than Punjabi and stuff.
That is like so bad. Like I just I don't like the society. I say that a lot.
Mhm.
But I just don't see why you have to, because languages are beautiful. Like I want to know all the languages in the world because they're just so beautiful. Accents are so beautiful
Mhm.
when you speak, even if your even if your accent sounds like you clearly sound like you're British, but it is like so beautiful. But
Mm-hmm. You know what I love people when people are talking English, then they start talking their mother tongue, and you can hear some people they they sound totally different when they're speaking their mother tongue. Like in English, they
Hmm.
might have a deep voice in English, but in their mother tongue, they'll have a high pitched voice. It's so funny.
Yeah, like
Like
I
when I'm speaking Punjabi, I feel like it sounds kind of aggressive. It sounds kind of aggressive.
say a phrase in Punjabi. Like just a
Um,
simple one.
um,
You know when
just say it
everything just
sounds
slips out
weird
of your
now.
mind with some
Give me
like
like
that
an
happens so much.
example or
Somebody
something to say.
um say my name is Imaan.
Um, I don't even know how to say that.
I actually
Say
said to
like
Google Translate
I could
once.
say a rude phrase, like well, not like a really rude phrase, but okay, say if I wanted to say I don't know, that's like menoni pata. Uh,
Oh, say that say what you did this morning, and then I'll say what I did this morning.
I don't know what I did this morning.
Okay, you know what?
Uh,
I'll try. Leo asubuhi nimeamka, alafu nimeenda skuli kufanya kazi zangu, alafu nimerudi nishachoka. So that translates to so today, this morning, I woke up, I went to school, I did all my classwork, and then I came home and I was tired.
See, that's good. See, you can speak it yours properly. I couldn't even say that. It sounds so good as well.
Like, no, thank you, love. Like, what what would you say to your mom? Like,
If I wanted to,
when
if I wanted to ask her to make say if I wanted dinner, I'd be like food bana. It just means make food.
I don't even think I know how to say please.
Please is I don't know. We probably just say please. I think you just say please.
You know what? Sometimes I'll ask my mom what the meaning of a word is, and it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be like fork or juice, and I'll be like, what's juice? You're like,
In
juice.
it, like
And then
some words we don't even have words for them anymore. We just say the English ones.
and like, you know, they just give you like they'll throw their shoulders just like, oh no, juice.
Yeah, and then they look at you like, why are you asking me that? Why?
Yeah, I know, like it's very weird and stuff. So I know like most people don't have kids and stuff, and like it's a choice to have kids.
Yeah.
But if you did, like, would you like let's start with the fact like you know when you marry someone and you marry someone out of your ethnicity, what would you do with like if you had two languages to teach your children? Would you teach them both, or would you focus just on one?
So if I married someone not my ethnicity,
Someone that doesn't speak Punjabi.
um, I think I think it would depend because I feel like it'd be harsh on the child to make them fully learn both languages. So I might teach them basics of both languages so they can kind of communicate with their family members. But I wouldn't make them learn
Hmm.
it like fluently, even though I
Yeah,
don't even know it fluently. But I think another thing a lot of like Muslim couples do nowadays when they marry out of the ethnicity is they focus more on getting their child to learn kind of they focus more on teaching about the religion rather than language and culture, which is good, I guess.
yeah, yeah. But like sometimes I look at like very religious focused
Uh
parents,
huh.
and I would like I'm just like like I will if I wouldn't have liked if my parents didn't focus on my culture as a child like
Yeah.
ever. And I'm so glad that they did
Yeah.
because the way I didn't know I was like I had Arab in me. Like I don't care that much, but like my mom would buy these Moroccan like clothes and I'm just like this isn't me. And she's like, yes, it is you. This is you. It's in your blood. And I'll be like, and I'd wear them. She hasn't bought one in like, okay, I'm lying. There's one right in the corner. um, but yeah.
Do you know what like percentage of it you are?
Okay, let me get the math out. So circle. I'm a quarter of something. Okay, I'm a quarter Yemeni.
Yeah.
I'm a quarter. I'm a quarter Omani. I'm a quarter Hindi, and then I'm a quarter Swahili. I'm so sad because
Really?
I only know. Yeah,
Wait, so wait, say that again.
I'm a quarter
Yeah.
Yemeni. I'm a quarter Omani. I'm a quarter Swahili, and I'm a quarter Hindi.
So you're half Arab and you're a quarter Indian.
Yeah,
Oh wow. That's cool.
but then you know when you try to deep things too much, and it's like all due to colonialization.
Yeah. Wait, so your grandparents are all
Like,
from different places?
no, they're all from this.
Wait, so they're all
What's it
like their
called?
blood is all different places.
Yeah, the blood is from different places, but I remember distinctively my mom saying how like in the Zanzibar revolution,
Yeah.
a lot of Arabs and a lot of Indian people that had migrated there were targeted a lot because they were like trying to liberate themselves from like, but they would just target anybody. And this is when the bias comes in, and my mom's just like, it's so unfair what they did to my people.
Mm-hmm.
And well,
Who
in the Yemen, I'm
targeted
not.
them?
So basically, the people in Zanzibar, there's like mostly black people, and they had been
Yeah.
colonized by Arabs, and the Arabs were like the Arabs had like continuously like sultan after sultan after sultan, and they literally had enough, so they attacked them. They would attack everyone on the streets. You know, Freddie Stone from the Queen,
Yeah.
he had to like migrate away because he was like
What
targeted
year was
because he was
this?
Indian.
What year was this?
This this was, let me search it up. So the Zanzibar Revolution took place in 1964. Carry on with what you were saying about someone's grandparents.
Wait, did it glitch?
Yeah, you went offline for a bit.
Oh, I was saying someone's grandparents, they were Indian, like their blood was, they were ethnically Indian, but they had
Mhm.
lived in Uganda previously because they
Yeah.
were brought there by British colonialists to be unpaid slave laborers. Then
Mhm.
I think once I think they got kicked out of Uganda, like the Indians got kicked out of Uganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it called. I have an auntie. I think her sister was brutally murdered in like the
Mhm.
revolution, and like it just like it pains me in my heart because they were trying to liberate themselves, but they went about it the wrong way, and they would just kill anybody on the
Yeah.
streets. But if that's what it takes, I'm sorry, this is inappropriate.
I feel like that's
um,
how a lot of revolutions work.
but
Like a lot of your own people get hurt.
it's like you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything else on this topic? This is a really nice talk.
Yeah, it was.
OMG, let me tell you. You know how we don't get a lot of like we don't get a lot of representation when it comes to like parents who are immigrants like that like done well enough.
Yeah.
I know this isn't like representation, but you know how like a lot of immigrant parents tell you buckle down, don't get in trouble, like, well damn Gina. But like they tell you to buckle down,
Mhm.
like do your work and stuff. And there's this one scene of Man of Steel, you know Superman, right?
Yeah.
And he was adopted, right? And he there's this one scene where he helps somebody get out of trouble, but because his parents don't want people knowing that he's not human and he's an alien, they told him off for it. But he was so upset. He was just like, I was just trying to help, and he was just like, I know you're just trying to help, but helping doesn't always work with people. with, because you know how like there's like always a struggle between trying to help people, but they don't want your help. They clearly don't, because they'll just see you as something. They just see you as something
Yeah,
else.
I see that scene in a lot of movies and stuff with ethnic people. That scene where the parents have to tell their child like, I know you have these type of intentions, but they don't see you like that.
Cause like that scene in Man of Steel, it like broke me in a way that I never expected it would.
I know it's really sad.
Yeah, but yeah. Anything else you want to say about yourself, about your parents, anything like that?
Um oh, another thing. You know, when it comes to like being connected to your culture, I feel for me like, obviously because I don't know the language that well, the three things that keep me connected the most are food, music, and like the clothes. Like I have to make sure at
Mm,
least once a week I try and wear Asian clothes, because it kind of keeps me, you know.
like you're wearing your country with
Yeah,
pride.
it reminds me. It reminds me.
Like sometimes my mom, like I don't really feel like I have like cultural
Uh
clothing,
huh.
but I like it when I like it when I wear clothes that my mom doesn't buy from like high end fashion. She has them specifically like sewed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just like, oh, yay! She does this for me,
Mhm.
and she buys all these fabrics, and she's just like, you wear this, you like I wear it when I wear them. I wear them with my country on my sleeve, with my culture on my sleeve,
Yeah,
and like I don't sometimes I want to wear like what is seemed to be like aesthetically pleasing clothing,
yeah.
but then again, my culture isn't an aesthetic, so I shouldn't really treat it that way.
But you can like, if it's you can I don't know how to explain this, but as yourself to help you appreciate it, you can change it into that because yeah,
Yeah, I just don't know how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out as time goes on.
like you know what I do and a lot of people do. It's like a fusion of Daisy clothes and English clothes. Like sometimes I'll wear uh
Mm.
like an Asian top with just plain jeans and the scarf obviously, and
I do that.
yeah, that it's fun in it.
Yeah, I do that. Is I love it so much. The time is exceeding, and I am going to end it here. It was lovely chatting to you about this. Like really nice.
Thank you.
I think we got like we got like a lot of ideas across
Mhm.
that I wouldn't get from like other people. So I'm very grateful that I asked you to do this with me. So
Thank you.
say goodbye.
Bye
Say
bye.
goodbye,
Bye
man.
guys.
That will be the end of this podcast episode. I hope whoever listened to it enjoyed it. And goodbye.